And thank you for having me back. I don't know about popular demand, but the food is always better, the music is always better. I'm a Catholic, and I really like you guys to come down to St. Mary's and show them how to do it, because we don't know. We've been at this game a while, but we don't know how to do it very well, and you do. So thank you for that. I'd like to begin with a little scripture. No bicycle in this one. That's Ephesians 4, by the way, the bicycle story, but if you look at your scripture. More or less. So Jesus says to Thomas, I'm the way, the truth, and the life. No one comes to the Father except through me. If you know me, you're going to know my Father. Philip said to him, wait a minute. Master, show us the Father, and that will be enough for us. Jesus said to him, have I been with you for so long, and you still do not know me, Philip? So it is with us. Why don't they know us? You know, we have that famous saying, they'll know you're Christians by your love, by your love. Why aren't we known better in the community and in the world as people of peace and love who care about other people? So we've got some work to do, each one of us. And this morning I want to talk about that in a very kind of special way. Now this talk is a little tailored to those of you in what I call the second to last chapter of your life. You know, the first chapter, you're born, the kids, well, you go through college, you go high school, whatever you do, you know, work, the kids are gone, if you had kids, gone. You hit that part, now you're not 85 or 90 or 95 and, you know, and kind of ready to fade into the sunset, but there's a period of your life where your responsibilities are not as great. You probably have sufficient money to live on without having to work too much. And you have this enormous block of time and your talents. What do you do with it? It came to me as if, by accident of course, you know that I do this work in India with orphan children. But as I thought about what I was doing and how this fit into my life plan, I began to think of it as my second to last chapter. So this morning, I want to talk about that. And in your bulletin, you have this little thing here. These are the 5 main points. And as I go through, there will not be a 10-question quiz. But if you want to jot down a note or anything, what you think you're hearing or how it affects you, please do. And that's certainly up to you. Because I need to have some markers. I served in the Navy. I was an officer on a destroyer for 3 years. And when we would go in and out of port, in order to get there, and you didn't go on the rocks, you have what are called buoys, B-U-O-Y-S, markers. So I'm going to talk about 5 of those buoys today, 5 of those markers for this period, the second to the last chapter. Now it also applies to younger people as well, because it's just, our age is different, but the principles, I think, remain. Point number 1. Live with indifference. What? Indifference? Nice go, Wilkes. So that, you know, you're never going to put the pin in the balloon. Live with indifference. Indifference does not mean whatever. Indifference means to approach life as a poised freedom that allows you to instantly, constantly assess the situation around you, giving you the time and liberty to discern the best track. That is what indifference is about. Thomas Merton talked about it in that saying. Because sometimes we think we have to go from point A to point B. And that is not the way that I feel I have to live my second to last chapter. You know, this word indifference is a very powerful one for me. I was watching an interview last night with David Brooks, New York Times columnist, alleged conservative, but we really know that he's not. And his new book, a bestseller list, all the way at the top already. And he talked about words that are used in all the media. And a search, I don't know if it was a Google search, but a word search showed that the words like indifference, humility, goodness, went down 50%, and the economic terms of success, advancement, went up 30%. So in other words, we don't even talk about it as much anymore, about a moral vocabulary. So indifference to me is a very, very important part, because St. Ignatius of Loyola started the Jesuits, and he preached indifference to his men. Now these guys were going to China, India, all over the world to save it, and to also bring education to various parts of the world. But he said to them, look folks, I'm going to educate you here as we have been educated, as we are sitting here right now. But that is going to be probably no good in the line at the Harris Teeter or when you land on the shores of India. You are going to have to think about what the circumstances are that confront you right now. And indifference is a wonderful quality because it does not cause you to say, well, I'll just kind of wander in here. You don't really care as much about the results as you care about who it is that you are in the moment that you are there. Indifference. I had to learn this because I found out that at this point in my life, the stakes are different. I have no profit or prestige motive in the work in India. There is no career path. I am basically unemployed. I am not paid. But this time in our life is a chance to become a different kind of an entrepreneur. An entrepreneur for good. We have never had this opportunity before in our lives in this concentrated form. Think about it. I mean, you got more aches and pains, you got grandchildren, children, brother-in-law, cranky husband, cranky wife, not me, of course, but you have all the things in your life, of course, but also you have this opportunity. What do you fill it with? What do you fill it with? Now, I just said indifference. Well, you know, we're going to be indifference. And now let's go a little whiplash. The quality of the effort, not the sum total of the results, is what counts. It branches off of that, if you think about it for just a minute. It is not that we succeed in what we are doing. It is who we are as we are doing whatever we do in our daily lives. Do not depend on the hope of results. You may have to face the fact that your work will be apparently worthless. And even achieve no result at all, if not perhaps results opposite to what you expect. If you get used to this idea, you start more and more to concentrate not on the results, but on the value, the rightness, the truth of the work itself. Believe me, folks, India has taught me this one. Jennifer Allen, sitting back there, our books lady, we have thousands of books. We have an ultrasound machine. Richard Rooks, our good shipping agent, who does this pro bono, and thank you again, Richard. Moldering on a pier in Bombay, and we already have charges of about $10,000 for all our good work, because we can't get it out of customs. Now, if I was the old Paul Wilkes, and I think I still am the old Paul Wilkes, but I'm trying to be the new Paul Wilkes. If I was the old Paul Wilkes, I would be, biting my nails, hands. I'd be on a plane to India. I'd be screaming and yelling. First of all, it's not going to do any good. Second of all, what kind of person am I when I'm doing that? Somehow, in the midst of these frustrating things that happen in India all the time, I constantly have to look at who am I in the midst of it, not whether or not I've succeeded. Because when we go for only success, that's ego. That's what we're trying to do. That's trying to puff ourselves up. If we have that internal will, I'm going to be the best person I can be in this situation, although I'm not happy about it, that's a whole other ballgame. I concentrate on the how, not so much at the what. Concentrate on the how, not on the what. The third part that I found that I need really to consider and I need to delve into, to penetrate, is that let the real us emerge. Allow your true self to be discovered. Because I think inside of us, inside of each one of us, you look at yourself and you say, I'm really kind of a good person. I'm really trying to do the best I can. I really do try. I lose my patience and I have this and everything, but really, I'm trying so hard. And inside of me is something that's really good. Well, at this point in my life, I'm trying very, very hard, and I think we all can try very hard, to let all the other stuff fall away. Because inside of us is this thing called a soul. Pure, undefiled, good. 1 year, 2 year, 3 year, 50 years, 75 years. We put all this other stuff on top of it. And that little thing inside is going like this, saying, wait a minute, you don't have to have that car. You don't have to posture like that. You don't have to push ahead of the people in the Harris Theater line. Wait a minute, what about me in here? I'll never forget on Broadway, they staged Jesus Christ Superstar. And one of the great scenes in that was that they had made him the king. So Jesus comes out, the simple, he used to have the just simple robes, the velvet, the crowns, the jewelry, and he's staggering because he's got all these clothes on and all this stuff on. We stagger through life the same way. Ego. Who am I? What's my car? Where do I live? And this little voice inside is saying, I don't care. I don't care. Listen to me. Follow me. I'll lead you on the right path. And not only will you make the world a better place, you'll be happier. All kind of studies show, especially at this point in our lives, and my life and your lives, the more you do for somebody else, the better you feel. The more you do for somebody else. What are the highest moments of our life? When we made the big sale, when we bought the big house, when we had the new car. They were nice. There's nothing wrong with that. But then there were those crystalline moments when, oh boy, that's me. That was me. That's when I felt the best. Because it was that me inside that came out. I think at this time in my life especially, again, there's nothing to prove. Nobody gives a damn about what you are, what you look like, or anything like that. You're not on a career, I'm certainly not on a career path. And so it's a beautiful time in life to just say, well, that doesn't kind of matter. Let me listen to that voice inside, whatever that voice is saying. I don't know what your destiny will be, but one thing I do know, the only the only ones among you who will be really happy are those who have sought and found how to serve. Our friend Albert Schweitzer, who knew it so well. Now, how am I doing in this behalf? Quiet. Probably not very well. Didn't I just scream, not this morning, but yesterday morning as we were going, what was that? Oh, about this jacket, I think it was actually. I love this jacket. I know it's 3 sizes too big. I know that it has sheen on it. I know that it's ragged. I have a brand new in my closet that I hate, but I love this jacket. And I was wearing it the other night, and so anyhow, you wouldn't want to have been there with the video. So I'm not doing so well on this. Believe me, if you come into my house, I'm saying all these things to you, and yet, this is not really the way it gets lived out in real life. But I'm trying. And I constantly go back to it. There's a little thing that I do every night before I go to bed. It's called consolations and desolations. I think to myself, when did I feel that I was the best person possible today? When did I feel like I was the worst person possible today? I'm going to try to do more of the first and less of the second. Very simple. Like the bicycle, it's very, very simple. That's one of the things that I do to try, anyhow, to get inside and find that person and let that person speak. Another thing about this, and we don't want to be preachy about it or anything like that, like India, orphans, maybe so wonderful, I am so wonderful. Let's not get into that. Nobody likes it. I don't like it. You don't like it. Nobody likes smarma. But your vocabulary begins to change. You develop and have a moral vocabulary. Moral vocabulary. We all have been to that party. We all have been there. We all talk about, God forbid, Carolina basketball. I know I just made 7 enemies right there. It's not really all that mundane or important to our lives. When you get into another frame of mind in this part of your life, you begin to talk about things that are real, about you, about the world, about Nepal, about your children, about your grandchildren, about the work you're doing, the struggle you're having. Isn't that more enjoyable, too, as you go and sit there over the canopies and the cheap white wine from Costco? It's really more fun to talk about real things and to live a real life. I'm not real good at suffering. I'm not good at pain. I like to have fun. I like to laugh. And I think this life affords that opportunity. Meanwhile, making it a meaningful life. But you begin to talk about different things to different people. And they want to hear it. Last night I was watching a little interview with David Brooks. And one of the things he teaches a class at Yale about morality and character and all that stuff. And somebody in the audience said, well, wait a minute, what's a generational thing on this? The young people. He says they're hungry for it. You know what? We're all hungry for it. We're all hungry for people to talk about things that matter, that count, that mean something. Who cares about how grass the green is on number 8 green at Cape Fear Country Club? Which few of us have darkened those walls, I know, those greens. But that's not the important stuff in our lives. There's something far deeper and far better inside of us. I want to link these 2 last ones together. Consciously think of this as a new way of walking in the world and live with a new sense of adventure. We all talk, we have heard this in your Sunday school class, we have heard it, from our parents. Walk as Christ would walk in the world. See the world with the eyes of Christ, be compassionate. I think that's a real exciting possibility. Because once you do, life becomes an adventure. It becomes an opportunity on a daily basis to live in a new and fresh way. Now, I'm doing this work in India, okay, that's that. But everybody has the opportunity in your own way. I just found another example that I just love. So there's this guy that runs the electricity for the haunted trail up at a plantation village up there, the conservation area. Well, it happened that a dog got off the leash, killed one of the ducks. Halloween is off. The ride is off. You know, who knows? You know bureaucracy, you know that stuff. So anyhow, this guy who is a soft-spoken, runs the electricity, doesn't do anything to anybody, saying, no, Halloween is not off. Because, he has monsters falling out of trees and, kids screaming and yelling. That's not going to go away. I'm going to make this happen. Did I do something? Okay. Okay. Is that the?
I got to get it on.
Hold on, it may all be dead.
I'm okay now. Can you hear it or no? Use this one.
Board is dead.
So, I'm sorry.
Board is dead.
This may be dead.
Oh, okay. That's all right. No, I can do it. I can do it. So anyhow,
He can talk loud.
Yeah, I can. So anyhow, this guy has taken it upon himself, in his second to last chapter, to make sure that there is a Halloween scary ride for those kids. Bicycle, scary ride, India, it's all kind of the same stuff. But again, it's the fun of it. It's the adventure of it. I come from a Catholic tradition where we all the saints, they have arrows sticking out of them and they're bleeding and, and the women never eat and the men never have sex. It's that kind of thing. Enough already with this stuff. I always think of Jesus as kind of like, hey, man, what's going on? Hey, what's going on here? You need some help? Yeah, I can work it. What do you got, Mary? Water? Nah, that's wine. Leper? Nah, man, come on, let me rub you over, brother. You're going to be all right. I have a feeling that he was not so, Gregorian chant playing in the background. I don't think so. Dusty, it was a crappy place to live. It was awful. People were poor, sick. And I think that this same opportunity presents itself to us. The adventure. Now, we're going to go into this day today, and we're going to see that happen. Because we are on a spiritual journey. We want to make our lives better. We want to be better people, and we want to be happier people. But if you go directly to happy without passing doing good, you never make it. We've all tried that. We all do. We had a great vacation, the sybaritic thing, massages, great wine, good food, nothing wrong with it. But the check comes, and then you say, well, was that all worth it? And usually the answer is maybe. So those aren't the things that are ultimately going to satisfy us. But there will come opportunities in our lives, today as we leave, today and the week ahead. And I'll bring one up to you that came to me. The woman in town by the name of Judy Gerard. Do we know Judy? Judy. Judy Gerard is one of the kind of foundresses, or one of the main people behind the Food Network and HGTV. Big, executive, New York City, powerhouse woman. Retires from that, comes to Wilmington, 4 months round-the-world trip. Okay, what am I going to do with the rest of my life? And she meets Trinity, the kid from the hood. She says to Trinity, well, what's going on? Not much is going on. Well, let's send her to YMCA camp, 2 weeks. Oh, this would be great for Trinity. Trinity comes back from YMCA camp, facing the rest of her life. And Judy says, that ain't going to do it. That little check for a couple $100 to the YMCA is not going to do it. Trinity needs a completely new life. So what does Judy do? She finds a great program that worked in New York City. And in 2016, a charter school will begin in Wilmington that will be an all-girls academy. Uniforms, discipline, stand in line, know your numbers, don't get pregnant, go to college, break the cycle of poverty, and go on with a great life. That's what happened when she saw Trinity. When I looked into the face of Reena, a little blinded girl in India, and she smiled. You're going to see those faces. You're going to have those opportunities in the days ahead. If you want to identify me, ask me not where I live, what I like to eat, or how I comb my hair. But ask me what I think is keeping me from living fully for the very thing I want to live for. What I think is keeping me from living fully for the very thing I want to live for. Thank you.